Hello and welcome to my very first YouTube Q&A. It's been a long time in the making, so I have a handful of questions from you guys, so let's sit down, get comfy, and get to know each other. Also, sorry, I just got out of the shower, if you can't tell. I had this image for this video where we would be sitting in a beautiful waterfall, and that's just not how this week is going. So you're gonna hear my washing machine in the background. Sorry. I'm excited to do this. This is my first ever YouTube Q&A face to camera, so I'm excited and I think it's gonna be great. First question is, are you from Appalachia? If not, where? Love your content, by the way. Thank you so much. I am from Appalachia. I was born and raised here, and I have spent the majority of my life living here. So yeah, born and bred. I think my family, my dad's side of the family, immigrated here in the 1790s. So my family's been in this particular area of Appalachia for quite a while. How did you get started making content? And do you make enough money doing it? I got started making content when my baby was 6 months old. College was just not accessible to me at the time with my baby being so young. I was exclusively breastfeeding, and I know that a lot of women make it happen, and that is so incredible. I'm so proud of you. For me, it just was not going on. And so I think I just really wanted something for myself, an outlet for my creativity, potentially maybe a way to make money. And I think that my goals for it were so small. Really genuinely, I was maybe in a year I will make it to 1,000 followers, and then maybe in 2 years I'll make it to 10,000 and I'll be able to monetize. I really had a misunderstanding of what monetizing on Instagram is. I started doing it and was really consistent about it. I posted every single day for 2 months, and it was crazy because at the time we were sharing one phone. Me and my partner were sharing one cell phone, so we would have to take turns, and then I would wake up early to post it, early to film before he had to go leave and work. It was crazy. I don't know what got into me. I just had to do it, dog with a bone style. Yeah, and also I think I just wanted community. I felt kind of lonely in my postpartum, and I wanted to have greater community. And so within 2 months I got my first 10,000 followers, which was amazing. And I will say, if you're trying to do this and that hasn't happened for you yet, please keep trying. The thing that I always tell people is that everyone will be successful. It's just about being consistent. It doesn't matter who you are or what you're posting. You will be successful. You just have to not give up. That's the only threshold. And do I make enough money doing it? Now I'm an employee at a restaurant, and I do all of their it's called social media management. So I do their content creation and then help manage their page. But I work very minimal hours because I'm still at home watching my kiddo most of the time. So I'm not making enough money because I'm not working enough hours. The pay is really good. I just am not able to work enough hours. And I'm trying to work on that so that I'm less stressed out. Did you go to college? I went to college a few times. It never really worked out for one reason or another. When I was straight out of high school, I got a full ride to UNC and then left within 3 months and went to UNCA, and that didn't work out either, mostly at that point just because of my mental health. And then when I was older, maybe like 21, I went to a community college, and I really loved that program. Like, that was by far my best experience with college. But then I unexpectedly got pregnant, and I had something called hyperemesis gravidarum, which is basically a pregnancy disease that makes you throw up a lot and get really, really sick. So I wasn't able to continue school. And then when I was on my like maternity leave, kind of after I had my baby, they contacted me and told me that the funding for my program in particular had been cut, and that like the degree wasn't there for me to return to, which was really such a bummer. But it did lead me to content creation, and it all sort of lined up because at the time I was studying like sustainability and green construction and permaculture, which all lined up with me starting my account, which in the beginning heavily focused on like homesteading. And it helped me with renovating my house, like a lot. Like, I didn't know what was inside of our walls before that program, so it taught me a lot about. Any advice on the transition to single motherhood? I would say it's gonna be like a really difficult process. Value your own self-care. For me, therapy has been really healing, and journaling. Don't be afraid to rely on the people that love you, and always like prioritize the emotional needs of your child more than your relationship. Like, at a certain point, your relationship with your ex is just, it doesn't matter anymore. You just have to prioritize your child's needs first and foremost. And just like, if you're having any sort of tension with the dad, just always remember like, okay, well, what is the best thing for our child in this situation? How long were your ex and you together? 9 years. Are you religious or spiritual? I believe in God, but I do not practice a particular religion. How do you handle overstimulation as a mom? I love this question. I love this question so much. I'm definitely still learning how to handle overstimulation as a mom. It's something that I'll probably always be working on and learning how to cope with. I find that headphones are incredibly helpful for me because I have a lot of auditory overstimulation, and so just having the decibels go down, or like having some music going on, like it makes such a difference for me and how I react very often. I also, when I was more freshly out of postpartum, started a trigger tracker, which is like every time you essentially lose your cool, in whatever degree that is, you write down, and I'm actually going to make a PDF of this to be available at some point, but you basically write down after the fact the situation to like the full extent that you can remember it, including like what was going on before, and then you can look back at what happened and see it with a lot more clarity. And then once you've been doing it for a minute, I find that you really start to notice patterns, and those can be really enlightening and help you a lot. I do a lot of like writing and workshopping of my own life, and so things that I find particularly overstimulating or having like a hard time with, like I realized that I didn't so much need screen time in the morning. The morning is pretty calm. Not offering screen time actually helps me feel more calm. It wasn't helping, but about 3 to 4 p.m. because my kid doesn't nap at all. Stopped napping very early, like essentially as soon as we weaned, my child stopped napping. So what I've realized is that at 3 or 4 p.m., having very intentional screen time at that time when I am like burnt out and exhausted is a really helpful tool. And so by taking away the screen time in the morning and then re-allotting it to that afternoon, A, it engages my child a bit more, and B, it gives me even that like 15-20 minutes of peace and calm that sometimes you just need. Sometimes you just need to lay in your bed for just like 10-15 minutes and recharge, because being a single parent is so exhausting. You just have so many hours of solo parenting. You know, you tend to be layering a lot of other things on top of that. So yeah, I also have all of my posts that I say about, screen-free activities for when you're really low energy. Like having a big toolkit of those can be really great too. Yeah, I just love this question so much. I would love to make another video and explore on that topic more. There's something you learn from being a mom. Joy. Joy and happiness and responsibility. I don't know. I just never realized how strong of a person I was and how much I really was capable of. And I think it's made me confront a lot of aspects of my own life or fears about myself. It really makes you confront all the darkest and lightest parts of yourself when you are parenting your child and you are given the opportunity to reparent yourself in a lot of ways and to, everything. I love being a mom. It's my greatest joy in life. I got pregnant very unexpectedly when I was 23, and so it was a lot, but I can never say that it's brought anything but it's only enhanced my life, truly. I feel so grateful for that. What's next? I don't know. I feel like I am at a point post separation where I'm coming to a bit more of an acceptance about the past and past dreams and expectations that I had. Because when you're in a long-term relationship, especially one where you've had children, I think you have a lot of dreams that you build up and a certain vision for how the rest of your life is going to go. And so when that ends up changing, it leaves a lot of room for the possibilities. Like I love the expression, anything can happen, and you can either be wildly pessimistic about that or wildly optimistic. And so I've taken it upon myself to try to be really wildly optimistic about that. I also feel as though I'm really at a point in my life where I'm not prioritizing trying to find any sort of romantic relationship in the future at all. I'm just focusing on me and my child and our future and figuring out what I want that to look like, even if it is a little bit more unconventional. Like, for example, I would really love to be traveling more often. So I will say, and most of the time in life I feel very young and I feel really uncertain of what the best thing to do is, but I'm trying to have a lot more self-trust and that I am capable of making really positive choices for how I want, the next couple chapters of our lives to look, because I feel as though I've made nothing but, some really positive choices in the past. So I don't know, I guess we will all find out together. Anyways, if you can't tell, I was pretty nervous for this, and the setting for it is not as fancy as I would have liked, but I really love, like, some of my favorite content is just these sort of chatty Q&A, like get to know me format type of videos. So I felt really excited to do mine, and I'm really appreciative of everyone who took the time to get to know me a little bit better. Please, if you have any more questions, I will either save it for another video upcoming. We could make this more of a regular thing if we want to. You know, as I have expanded my channel and am now willing to do face-to-camera things, I think it's really just, I want this to be a collaborative experience with you all. Please tell me, what kind of content, like, are you gravitating towards? What do you want more of? It helps me so much on the back end of producing these things to know, like, what would resonate with you all. But for now, that's all we have to go over for today. Thank you so much for joining us, and I am so very excited to see you next time.